You're watching the History Fella channel, and in this video we're looking at Frederick Douglass, or born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. Frederick Douglass was born circa February 1817 or 1818 and would die on February the 20th, 1895. Douglass was an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer and statesman. After escaping from slavery in Maryland, he became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York, during which he gained fame for his oratory and incisive anti-slavery writings. Accordingly, he was described by abolitionists in his time as a living counterexample to enslavers' arguments that enslaved people lacked the intellectual capacity to function as independent American citizens. Northerners at the time found it hard to believe that such a great orator had once been enslaved. It was in response to his disbelief that Douglass wrote his first autobiography. Douglass wrote 3 autobiographies, describing his experiences as an enslaved person in his Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave in 1845, which became a bestseller and was influential in promoting the cause of the abolition, as was his second book, My Bondage and My Freedom, in 1855. Following the Civil War, Douglass was an active campaigner for the rights of freed slaves and wrote his last autobiography, The Life and Times of Frederick Douglass. First published in 1881 and revised in 1892, 3 years before his death. The book covers his life up to those dates. Douglass also actively supported women's suffrage, and he held several public offices. Without his knowledge or consent, Douglass became the first African American nominated for Vice President of the United States, as the running mate of Victoria Woodhull on the Equal Rights Party ticket. Douglass believed in dialogue and in making alliances across racial and ideological divides, as well as his liberal values of the U.S. Constitution. When radical abolitionists under the motto "No Union with Slaveholders" criticized Douglass's willingness to engage in dialogue with slave owners, he replied, "I would unite with anybody to do right, with nobody to do wrong."